listen to fall to the floor.
Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. Hopefully the audio is okay. It's not up to my normal standards. My remote mic is not working properly, so this is not a video that I want to have an audio problem with. So as you know, I've been collecting vintage pens for a very long time. In the old days, 70s, early 80s, you could go to flea markets, antique stores, thrift shops or whatever, and generally find some very good fountain pens laying around for a few bucks. So in my endeavors of going to flea markets, these were large flea markets with many hundreds of vendors, and a lot of these vendors traveled around the country. So on the northeast coast of the United States, in the late spring, early summer, a lot of the vendors would come up after being down south, and I would go at dawn and go to the different sellers there and ask them if they had any fountain pens, and sometimes they would just show me a shoe box or a cigar box or whatever full of pens. I would go through them and pick out what I thought was interesting. So on one table they had a box and of pens and various things, and I saw this in there. Well, let me paraphrase that. The memory's a little hazy. It is about 50 years ago. So this may have been in a box of straight razors, because I've opened up these Waterman fountain pen boxes in the past and found a straight razor inside of them. So I saw this box. I was excited about it because it was in good shape. As you can see, it has the 06 and 08 patent dates on it. Interesting warning here on the back. Make certain they're Watermans, because there was A.A. Waterman, which also was selling pens, which eventually Waterman acquired them and incorporated them into Waterman. So much to my surprise, when I opened up this box, I found inside a mint safety pen. So this is the safety pen. I'm using some different lighting, so hopefully the colors aren't extremely accurate, but hopefully it'll let me bring out the detail. And this is mint in box. I'm not a fan of safety pens, but obviously for $1 or $2, whatever it cost me for this pen, I bought it. It just is amazing. I mean, the imprint is pretty much close to perfect on here, because it is mint in box. I mean, this probably was in this box for 40 years, 30, 40, 50, maybe more. So that's what's interesting. And the patent date on the pen is actually 1903, April 28, 1903. It has a nice gold band here, which I assume is gold filled, but the fact that there's no tarnish on it, as you can see, there's a little tarnish on the clip. This could be solid gold, but it's not marked. And at the bottom there's a nice engraving in the bottom of the barrel. Again, very crisp, very clear, because this is a mint safety pen. And the other thing that's nice, which I've not seen before, as you can see, there's a 12S on the bottom of the barrel. That stands for 1, 2 safety. So 1 and S are the safety, and 2 obviously is the nib size, which Waterman is used to. For those of you that haven't seen safety pens, the cap unscrews. It's a very short cap. And there's no nib. Where is the nib? Sorry for being dramatic about it. Back here is the original blind cap, which you turn, and the nib comes out of the pen. So that's why it's called a safety pen, because the nib is safely in the barrel during transit, and the cap does a tight seal on here. So while this pen is not in use, it will not leak. Obviously, there's a mechanism here that moves the nib in and out, and that obviously can wear, but this is mint in box, so that's not going to be an issue. Just a standard Waterman's Ideal nib on here, nothing fancy, as we try to get this strange light to focus. There we go. You need to give it something to focus on. I apologize, but I need to do this at night. I want to do this before I go to the DC Pen Show, because this pen is going to the DC Pen Show with me. I don't have any emotional attachment to this pen, even though I do have this great story on how I found it. during my flea market days. I'm going to see if someone who really loves safety pens, who would like to have a mint-in-box one from the early 1900s, I'll be willing to barter, trade. You know, I'd much rather get a nice pen. It has, you know, the nice emblem in the top of the cap, which is, again, common for this type of pen. And everything's in really pristine condition. And that actually comes out. So this is nice. I mean, this is, you know, one of those kind of grail pens if you're into that. And again, there's another caution label inside which says, you know, tell you how to use the safety pen. Always hold open end up when removing or replacing the cap. Do not take the gold pen out of the holder. I'm not exactly certain what that means. Maybe don't remove the nib. And please see enclosed instructions and some Spanish registration information, and factories in Newark and Seymour, Connecticut in the USA. So I'm going to very carefully unfold the instructions, which are quite old, and they're specific for this type of pen. Talks about cleaning, the cap, filling. Obviously this is a lever pen, so not exactly a safety pen. Again, very careful because this is old paper. You can see there's a whole bunch of repair information, very similar to what you've seen in some of the catalogs that I have. And as you open it up, you'll see a complete review of Waterman's line. At least there's the pencil, the inks that they sold, and another, the self-filling type. So this doesn't cover the safety. There's the safety type. So there's the instructions on the safety type pen. Shows a little cutaway of the cap, and the nib inside of there shows you filling it with an eyedropper. So that's kind of it, and it shows you the instructions on how to pull the nib in and out and make certain that the cap's on. So it's a nice little find. So I wanted to capture this on video, so I had a record of it in case when I come back from the DC Super Pen Show, I'm not going to have this in my possession. So hopefully you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane to an old period of time. And I didn't turn off my speaker on my computer, so it beeped at me for some reason. So that's it. Some people love safety pens. We'll see if I can find one who loves them and see what they might be willing to trade for this mint-in box.